And welcome to Taking Care of Business here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. It is a day to sit down with Klodowski Real Estate. We have Chris and Adam Klodowski joining us on the program this morning. Thanks for coming in. Is it chilly enough out there for you today?
Chilly enough, absolutely.
I know we all keep saying it about this cold, but I just can't ignore it. It's just, I just don't. I've been in Wisconsin my entire life, and I refuse to just get used to it. It's just not for me.
That's fair, and gratefully it doesn't stick around long. Like, that's what makes us appreciate the
That's
spring,
true.
the fall.
That's true. I was sneak peeking ahead to next week, and it looks like maybe a little chance of climbing into the 40s next week. So we'll see. March will be here before we know it. So if you've got any questions about real estate, you can give us a call here on the program at 885-4446. That's 885-4446. Or feel free to shoot us a text at 887-9595. That's 887-9595 if you just want to text in with a question for Chris or Adam from Klodowski Real Estate. And whether you're buying, selling, and it can be a confusing process. There's a lot of things involved, so very typical for questions to arise. So if you've got a question, feel free to call or text into the program today. But it's cold out there, but spring will be here before we know it. And let's just start out talking a little bit about how the market's looking today and what we're looking forward to in the spring market.
It's current timing. Rates are, my apologies, a little more inventory than there was about a year ago.
Okay.
Inventory a year ago was pretty low. As of this morning, there were 17 single-family homes on the market, and I just pulled that from the city and township of Beaver Dam.
Okay,
Obviously,
So the
there's quite
57916.
there's quite a few other outlying townships that are very near Beaver Dam.
Yep.
And then I also looked at a 15-mile radius of Beaver Dam. It's kind of covered with Pond, Mayville, Horicon, Columbus, Randolph area. 55 single-family homes. Obviously, the 15-mile radius covers a pretty big spread. So.
Okay, very good. With having a few more homes available compared to this time last year, are we seeing any differences in the pricing? A little shifting in the pricing? Is it pretty much staying steady?
I would say pricing, not much different.
Okay.
But what you saw a little bit a year ago, but like 2 and 3 years ago, is the multiple over asking. We'll give you a kidney and a freezer full of beef, like you sell us your house. The buyers are back to more regularly including a home inspection or being able to negotiate different terms on the properties or a credit back towards closing costs. Where 2-3 years ago it was almost impossible to get an accepted offer with things like that.
It's these last few years. Obviously, we've seen a lot less homes on the market, and we've seen higher asking prices. And I remember at one point, if you were selling at your house at one point, you could pretty much ask the world for it because you were one of very few with a home available. And so good to see that maybe we're headed in the right direction with having a few more, because we're a growing community here.
So
we definitely need that. What are you kind of seeing for the forecast for spring? Are we kind of feeling hopeful about some more availability?
The spring always is a the weather change. I mean, who wants to be moving on a day like today?
Right.
The weather change, but also folks that have children, if it's shifting a school district potentially, waiting until the school year is out to do a move to a new area. Interest rates, I feel like, help to keep the inventory down, not so much from a first-time home buyer perspective, because they don't know the 3% interest rates.
Yeah.
This is just what the interest rates are. However, the folks that currently own a home that have interest rates in the upper 2s, low 3s, say their children have grown up, graduated, went to college, or they've had 3 children since those interest rates, and they would like to upsize their house or downsize their house. Well, when you look at those numbers, people are staying where they're at, because to double plus and then some your interest rate, that makes a big difference in your monthly payment.
Yeah. It's so funny, like some of the things that go into what fluctuates the market. that you just don't think about. I mean, the seasonal stuff makes sense. Like we like moving, and we're in Wisconsin, so warm weather, better moving than winter. But yeah, like you mentioned, the whole if you've got a student, if you've got kids in school, and you need to wait to till between school years to then make that move, and so there's just those things that that you really don't think about. Again, if you've got any questions for Klodowski Real Estate, feel free to give us a call 885-4446, or you can shoot us a text at 887-9595. Do we want to dig into a couple of the properties that you've got right now?
Currently, we do have quite a few lots available.
Okay.
Ranging, from 1 acres. We have one out in Calamus. It's on 51. That's 12 and 5/8 acres. We have a nice parcel coming into Juneau on Highway W. It's in the town of Oak Grove. That one's 11 acres. And then we also have some on the north end of town by our office off of 33. We have a nice lot that overlooks the lake. No lake frontage, but it's on 33.
And that subdivision, in the past 18 months, I mean, there were many lots out there, and they're down to the one. A lot of people
been
are
getting
back to
scooped up.
yep, back to building again.
People are building.
Okay.
There are 3 actively being constructed new homes out in that
Oh wow.
subdivision.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
good.
they had not sold one there in a couple of years, and really, the last year, 18 months,
They've
even in
evolved.
general around town, there's, I know the same with there's a subdivision behind Wally's Auto Salvage, and same deal there. They had quite a few lots, and I think there may be one left.
Okay.
But 3 houses have been constructed in that subdivision just this last summer even.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
we're seeing building coming back a little more. We
Then
do
we
have,
have the community care building.
yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Talk a
With
little bit
them-
about
The old
that
church,
building.
yeah.
Yeah.
But with them moving to the school fully in the spring when it
Yeah.
closes, that is available, and that's at 175. So for someone that would like to do a daycare, obviously it's already all set up for that.
Yeah.
The playground equipment stays, all that good stuff. Or if somebody wanted to,
Yeah, there's probably a lot of possibilities
Yes,
with that
yes.
building. I
An
mean, it's been a
antique
church
store, a
before.
market,
yeah,
yeah,
it could be a
yep.
retail spot. Talk about a unique space. If somebody's been looking for for whether it's a retail space or a business space or something like that. Or convert it back to a church if
Yeah,
you want.
yep.
There's always an option too. So, there's a lot of options, and what a special building that is. And I know that Renee and the team at Community
Yeah.
Care has mixed emotions. It's served them well, and special.
I'll
building,
be
but
honest, Abby and Adam are 31, and they went there.
They
when
went
were
there.
children. Yes,
so
I have,
even for you guys, so
I
that
have
must
warm
be.
fuzzies about that
Was that,
place.
so that was that kind of special when you got the call that like, hey, we want you involved in
Yeah.
In this. That's probably pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
that's awesome. We've got the folks with Klodowski Real Estate joining us. We've got Chris, Adam, and Abby is joining us as well. Now you made it. Thanks for coming.
I did, yeah.
She had a funeral visitation to go to.
That's
She wasn't
hey,
just slacking
I
off.
knew. I knew with Abby it wasn't just like she overslept. I
I would love to oversleep. I can't wait till that's part of my life again.
Until 11 a.m.
yeah, exactly. Again, we're visiting with the team from Klodowski Real Estate. If you've got a question for them, give us a call at 885-4446, or you can shoot us a text at 887-9595. So that's another really great property that's available right now. What are some of the other listings you've got available?
Residential wise, just a few. So if you're thinking about selling in the spring market, we'd love to meet with you. 102 Hamilton Street is a 4-bedroom, 2 full bath, upper level laundry, 2,370 square feet, redone, brand new kitchen, brand new appliances, new roof, new siding, and that's listed at $315. Then we have. Could be a multifamily, currently set up as a multifamily. I could easily go back to a single family by just opening up one spot in the wall that connected the foyer to the main living room. That is a 3-bedroom, 2-car detached garage with 2,437 square feet, 3 baths, listed at $325. I'm gonna do that one.
We have a condo on Blackhawk Trail in Fox Lake. It's a 4-bed, 2 full bath home, 1,810 square feet. That also does include 7 condo lots, and that does have some deeded lakefront access. So it's a shared space through the condominium association. Potential to build if somebody would like to. There's 7 lots there to develop. We also do have a ranch home coming on tomorrow on Gould Street. That one, you can check out the Klodowski Real Estate Facebook page or website. Like I said, that one will be active tomorrow. So.
Yeah, and you make a good point to make sure you to follow you on Facebook, because you've always got some of the new listings up there, and you do a great job with making sure there's a nice variety of photos and sometimes videos and things like that, so you get a really good idea of what you're looking at before you go to check something out. So again, what is the website again?
Just KlodowskiRealEstate.com.
All right, very good.
I'll spell it out: KLODOWSKI. And despite our best efforts in searching around for a website administrator, you have to log in to look at more than one property.
Sure.
You will get one welcome email that's automatically sent. We will not follow up with you after that unless you message us to say we want to talk about this or look at this property. I know a lot of people are hesitant with that, and I understand, because I am hesitant about that on a website. But we don't do anything with it other than the auto-generated welcome email if you would like to go on there. And we are linked directly to the statewide multiple listing service. So I think it's every 15 minutes it updates, so it will show you what properties already have an accepted offer. So it's not like some of the third-party worldwide websites. They don't show you if it's under contract. You can get excited,
Sure.
and it's like, oh, darn.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of information always updated, so you're not sure. So you go through all the calls
Yep.
and that stuff, and then okay, never
Yep.
mind, that one's out of the question. So
And then we have one coming at the beginning of March. It is 141 Lakeshore Terrace, three bedroom, 2.5 bath. Has a primary ensuite, updated, family room, living room, fireplace. That's going to come on the market at $400,000.
This is exclusive info. You will not get this information anywhere else.
yeah,
Well,
ooh.
it's in a delayed listing in the MLS. So
I know, but I'm just saying, like, in the general public, this is exclusive information.
okay.
Yeah, see, that's why you tune in to 95.3 WBEV, because Klodowski's come in and they break news right here. So that's exactly what we're all set up for. And again, if you've got a question for the folks from Klodowski Real Estate, 885-4446, or shoot us text at 887-9595. One of the things I wanted to talk about today that I hear thrown around, and I think you guys have talked about this a little bit too on the program before, but I think it's worth repeating, and I just heard it being talked about the other day again as well. And there can be a lot of confusion in today's real estate world, and there's different laws now and things like that, and you hear these terms buying agent versus seller's agent. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between those two and really ultimately what that means? And while you chat, I'm going to go grab an extra mic for
You
Abby.
go right ahead.
All right.
So a selling agent is the agent that works with someone who is listing their home. The listing agent is technically the term. Someone listing their home who works with you in pricing, property preparation, marketing, things of that nature. A buyer's agent, or I guess that would be more the selling agent, because it's the one that ultimately sells the home. A buyer's agent will work with you pointing out adverse facts in a property. Like, for example, if a home doesn't have GFCI outlets within 6 feet of a water source, if there's a 4-inch drop where the driveway may have settled from where the driveway may have settled compared to the garage. Just so you're aware of everything going in, because I know myself as a first-time home buyer, I would look at a property, be super excited because it was super cute, and then I would have my dad come take a look, and he'd be like,
Crush all your dreams.
and I thought he was a real buzzkill, but it was important to know those things when purchasing a property. Buyer's agents also should, we currently have a commercial actually on WBEV that talks about a buyer consultation. We do a consultation with our buyers to talk about the process of each of the steps of looking for a property, as well as what you go through when you make an offer to get you to the closing table before you get the keys. Little things like preparing you for putting down earnest money, or what a home inspection costs, so there aren't surprise costs along the way when you have your money, your nest egg stashed away to put your percentage down that your lender has told you. So you're welcome to call the office, 920-219-9212. Depending upon the week, it'll depend which one of us you reach. But all of us do a buyer consultation when we sit down and discuss all of that with you to have you well prepared and equipped when you go into a house to look for some of the things, but also when you fall in love with that place and want to make an offer to call it your own, you have some of this information underneath your belt so the questions aren't coming up for the first time when we're talking about a home inspection or earnest money.
Sure. And again, if you've got a question for the team from Klodowski Real Estate, you can give us a call here on the show, 885-4446. That's 885-4446. Or shoot us a text at 887-9595. Want to talk a little bit about the buying process for maybe folks who aren't familiar or maybe been through it once, but it's been 20, 30 years. When you're getting ready to buy, what is some of the things people should know? What is it going to look like? And what are some of the things you can do to start the process?
For you?
Call us.
That's a good starting point. That's a very good starting point.
We have, and you can get a hold of us in any of the ways. Like I have a girl posted on Facebook today and said, looking for a realtor, and then people tag us, which we are so very grateful for. But so I'm just talking with her through Messenger today, and we'll set up a buyer consultation. And we like to remind people at the buyer consultation that this isn't stuff that you have to like lock in up here. You just like, we'll guide you through the whole thing. It's our entire job, but just an idea ahead of time. Like we like to know, what are you looking for? What are your needs, and what are your, this is the house type of things. Like if you need 3 bedrooms, but you would love to have 4, that's good information for us to have. But those are the things that we talk about at a buyer consultation is what you're looking for. We recommend our multiple lenders that you can choose from, because a lender really is your first step after you've talked to us, so you know what you're looking for. Like, they tell you not to try on the wedding dress that's over your budget.
Right.
Same thing with houses. Like, we want to... Well, Mom, you still bought
it. Wow. This is what family business looks like. This is what you get.
I still got the dress, just in case you're wondering.
You're going, yeah, that wedding dress. I know.
Like what Abby said, that's all part of the buyer consultation. We talk about the process, of course, but also, what are criteria, location, bedrooms, bathrooms. A lot of people look at garages are important. Updates, a ranch home, not everybody likes to have stairs, laundry. And then, of course, we will recommend, and you certainly don't have to use any of these people, but we'll recommend a bunch of lenders that we've worked with, we've had good experiences in the past. Of course, we try to support the local folks, and we have a bunch of great local lenders. And after that, once you're pre-approved or have an idea what you're looking for, that then comes the time we usually set up a saved search, and we can get pretty in-depth in criteria there, and then it will forward you automatic emails on these homes that fall within that criteria. Once you say you find something you like, then we would get together and take a look at it.
Yeah, and can we just take a moment to just appreciate the importance and impact of the right lender?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
That's huge. Not just for worrying about your financing of the home as over the years, but through the buying process, to have a good lender is huge. From your guys' perspective, working in real estate, I mean, what's your take on that?
Sometimes people come to us for their consultation and they're ready pre-approved, because obviously knowing what you have to spend is important when you're looking for a property. Like, you could go into a mortgage calculator and just put in the cost of a home and the interest rate and what that would be monthly, but there's so many variables. Like, if you don't have 20% down, well, then there's additional things to that are going to increase that monthly payment. So having a pre-approval letter at the start of the process is super important to do, but also, yes, with the lender that is timely in one that's available, like that you can call with questions. Yes,
that's when I
think you guys can only go so far in the process as what they're going to communicate back to you.
Absolutely,
and get the information you guys need.
I was at a closing recently. I had listed the home. These buyers, we were closing down in the Merton area, and the buyers came to closing and they had never sent their funds for the closing. I mean, like. It's important that lenders are on top of things to make sure that everything goes smoothly.
Yeah. And I have heard a number of stories over the years of things, and it never seems to really be with the real estate agent. It always seems to land somewhere in the financing and the lender. And, I've heard horror stories of, thinking everything was secure and then finding out, oh, we didn't go through this step and figure out, didn't realize this, or another step comes, an inspection comes, and something is found. But also, like, it can be really good. I mean, my wife and I fortunately had a very good experience, and in buying our first home, one of the things that I'm so glad we did, we didn't realize how smart it was at the time, was we did get that pre-approval, and we worked with a local mortgage broker, which was great because she already had relationships with a lot of the great real estate agents here in the community.
Yeah.
Sat down with us and also went over like some of the different options for lending.
That's huge.
And there's so many different factors that can play into what you're eligible for, what's going to work best for, down to the community you're living in versus what your income in versus, there's a whole ton of different situations that can change what your lending situation is. So do you guys find it super helpful when folks go through that pre-approval process? Does that seem to kind of speed things up from a buyer's
You really have to. Like, in the market we're in, no one's taking your offer seriously unless you have a pre-approval with it. It's not really, and I actually just was talking to people about this today, that now, like, when we got our first pre-approval, we just went to the bank and said, this is what we make. And they were like, okay, here's what you... And now, like, you're submitting documents. They're essentially, like, underwriting you before you even have a pre-approval. Like, they have factual information to go on when they're giving you your pre-approval versus, like, previously there's, like, you just said, hey, this is what's up. And they were like, okay, cool. And another thing that I think is really important that we go over, but we also really appreciate a lender that also goes over it, is what are your costs going to be throughout this transaction?
Yeah.
So when we do that buyer consultation, we talk about how much an inspection costs, if you're going to need a well, water, and septic test, what that costs, what an appraisal costs, that you're going to need to put earnest money down, and what that looks like, because how would you know that? Like, yes, this is what we do every day, but you do this, probably max 4 times in your life. So we like to make sure that people know ahead of time what those costs look like, so they're not like, what? What do you mean? I owe money for that? But some lenders also, like, they'll give you a closing cost estimate, so you know what that will look like as well. So you really know, like, all told, what you're looking at versus at the end being like, where do these $2,000 extra dollars come from? How do we?
Yeah.
You don't want to get to the point of closing, like, and finding out, oh, great, I don't have money left to buy curtains for this house.
Sure.
Of course, we want to see everybody shop local, but what I tell people is have somebody that you can call and answer your questions.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on any, these national chains or anything, but just have a person where you can call and say, I have a question about this, or, there's no stupid questions, and they don't hurt to ask.
I feel like we could pick on a national chain and say, don't use an online lender. Your
Yeah.
Rocket Mortgage and things like that you're just applying online and finding someone you don't. There's not like a person that you get.
It depends. I've had good experiences with Rocket Mortgages.
Not I.
I have had good
And
and
that's
bad.
the challenge, right? You don't quite know what the experience you're going to get.
It's not even the company. I'm like, the lender, yes.
Yeah.
And some people like to, a lot of people are great with just uploading their documents to a lender, but some people like to take their paper copy into a person.
Sure.
So then you definitely want to be somewhat local, so you're not going to Atlanta to drop off your last 2 years of tax returns.
Heading out to Oakland. What
Yep,
are you doing
yep.
in Oakland? Got some real estate papers got to deliver. Again, chatting with the great team here at Klodowski Real Estate. If you've got a question for them on the show today, feel free to give us a call at 885-4446, or you can shoot us a text at 887-9595. Opposite side of things, talked a little bit about the buying process. Selling process, let's talk a little bit about where that starts and what that looks like.
So generally, if someone were to reach out, usually we will get together, try to give us a little bit of, a couple hours in advance so we can kind of do our research, pull the assessor data and, the data we can get off the county sites, prior listings potentially. But usually we'll go take a look, walk through somebody's house, and we'll take. I have them with me actually from what I did yesterday. A page or two of notes, basically cover age of mechanicals, the condition of everything, the roof, the layout, there's a lot of things, a lot of notes we take,
Does it have a garbage disposal? Does it
Right,
have a
right.
fireplace? And
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Are the appliances staying with the house?
My
Yeah.
new listing has a warming drawer.
Ooh, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that happen. They don't necessarily need to happen at an initial appointment, but usually, we'll do a comparative market analysis based off these notes, and then they can all happen at the first appointment, or once we have that, get a price figured out. At the end of the day, the price is up to the seller, but we give them our best educated guess on what their home could sell for in the current market. And after that, we would get together. If they still want to list, review paperwork, like Christine said, what's staying, what do you plan to keep, what do you plan to take with you, all that good stuff.
And bless everyone, like when you go, I mean, in my experience, I'm sure it's the same for you too. They feel like they have to have their house picture ready when you go to meet with them.
Yeah.
And you do not.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
that's
If you have a overflowing hamper of laundry or a laundry room piled full, we are human too. We are just there to look at the house. It does not need to be in ship shape.
We look
for
past
us.
the stuff.
you'll schedule out the official photo
Yes,
taking
yes.
and all
and
that
we
stuff.
and we will strategize with you about like what could get you your. We'll talk about like, hey,
Best terms, best dollars.
yeah, realistically, we probably should take down the kindergarten through 12th grade of all 6 of your kids. That maybe could come down.
Or in the current day, anything that indicates a political affiliation.
Sure, yep.
And obviously, if a seller feels strongly about that,
Yeah, it's
leave
always
it
their
up.
choice.
But we make the recommendation.
Yep.
Just like
might limit your buyers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
just like this is probably going to give me some hate mail. You have one living area, and it is full of mounts, animal mounts. I respect that, but also for the photography that there is a population of people
Yeah,
that
it's not
is
for
turned
everybody.
off by that. So
Yeah.
if it's possible to pare it down a little bit, being that you're going to be moving anyway, you're going to have to take them off and patch the wall and. Maybe a good time before you have the professional photography done.
And we do make suggestions. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're taken better than other times, but we could move this around or paint this wall a neutral color or a color that brings in some good natural light. And then we of course before pictures we have a list of things that we're not requiring people to do all these things, but like
Yep.
one thing is just keep everything tidy. Reduce clutter. Have all the blinds open. We want to get as much natural light as possible. Just in curb appeal, there's a lot of small things that I feel do go a long way. And some people don't want to, which is understandable. Like I said, it's not required, but a lot of people are like, yeah, we'll do all these things, and I think it's worth it in the long run.
To really to the seller's comfort level.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll meet with someone that says, I don't want to do anything. I don't even want to get this stuff out of here. What would we list it at? Okay, then it's
Yep.
it's listed accordingly. Like there's the wholesale, there's the retail,
Yep.
and some people are like, hey, tell me everything I can do to make this the smoothest and get me my best price. And
Yep.
we can bring in a staging consultant just to say, hey, move this furniture here, open up this walkway, get a couple fake plants for here and there. Whatever the seller is
And
comfortable with.
it's all a conversation, and
Yep.
it's just advising on, hey, from our experience, doing this as many years as we've been doing this, what we find works really well for sellers and what really helps to showcase this property and this area. So it's and then ultimately they can make the decision on what they want to do. And yeah, you don't think of there's little things you don't think about like the grade school pictures, things that are just privacy, right? Just
Yep.
you got your kids, you maybe don't want that these are going to be posted all over websites and listings, and so there's those type. They might look beautiful, they might the decor might fit, but you might want a little bit of privacy that way. So there's just a lot of little things. Upkeep on lawn care, I imagine too. It's
Yeah.
helpful if you want to do a little uptick in that as you're getting ready to sell. Might be helpful. So.
Yep.
Even 6 bags of fresh mulch to put in front of the
Sure.
house, like little thing, relatively inexpensive investment.
Yeah.
But just I heard
A lot of sweat. Some of the things are sweat equity stuff. They take some elbow grease and.
Yep.
I heard the phrase this week in a podcast that another new thing I heard was like to have the seller wipe down the exterior of their furnace because they're often dusty. just to wipe that down, because a buyer will base what they can't see in a home by what they can see. So if it appears to be well maintained,
Yep.
they're a little more comfortable in making a purchase.
If you're selling, here's a little hint: clean the dust bunnies out of the bottom of your fridge, underneath the doors.
Excuse me.
And if you're a buyer, look there, because you'll know just how thorough of a cleaner the seller is.
You can see how many ice cubes somebody's kicked underneath the fridge
In other
for
words,
the last 10
please,
years.
in other words, please don't come to my house and look at.
Yes, same.
Please
Same.
don't. Yeah, it's funny too, the lawn care thing. Like I'm pretty obsessive about my my lawn, and it just drives my wife nuts. And like,
Same.
why do you obsess over that so much? You know, someday it's going to bring some more curb appeal to this property when we're ready to sell. She's like, you realize that's probably going to be like 20 years down the road. 20 years worth of lawn work.
Yeah.
You can't just let it go and suddenly reverse it in a
Because
matter
every
of
day
weeks.
someone's driving by going, oh, they take such
Yeah,
good
you're
care
going
of
to be
that.
really good at doing that by
It's
the
not
time
typically a cumulative process, but you know what? Whatever.
Again, we're talking with the team at Klodowski Real Estate. If you want to, if you've got a question, feel free to give us a call here on the show, 885-4446, or shoot us a text at 887-9595. And, you know, just sitting here talking, and I've known you guys for a while, but my first time getting to do the show with you. I think people watching and listening, it's pretty obvious that you guys are passionate about what you do in this. I mean, it became a family business for a reason, right? And can you just each talk a little bit about what it is that makes you so passionate, and kind of what motivates and drives you in this?
Want to start? Who wants to start?
Yeah, I can.
Big question.
Different things, but I feel like as time has gone on, doing right by people is really just at the top of the list. Like that, I feel like we are all very much in all aspects of our lives. Like doing the right thing is the top of the list. Like if something isn't going to work out for somebody, we will express like, hey, this maybe isn't the property for you. There's never a time where we're gonna say, oh yeah, go ahead, that seems like a great idea, when we know, like, when our discussions leading up to this were, well, I don't want this and I don't want this and we'd like to stay in this number, and then we abandon all that. I feel like we're all gonna say, hey, remember this. Is this really gonna fit best for you? Is this gonna work for your family or whatever it is? On both sides, like selling and buying, always doing what's right for people, and it's not always the
Sometimes there's some tough conversations that need to happen,
Sure.
but it is always worth it in the end to be, with the honesty and transparency. And
it's also not always the standard in this industry, and this is like most people's largest sale or investment of their lifetime, and we're very grateful to be part of that and be able to guide people and have their trust and respect to be able to do that for them.
Yeah, I mean, we do, over the last several years, we've kind of seen this influx of people getting into real estate, right? And there's kind of been a big boom of that. And so it really is important that you know who you're dealing with when it comes to a real estate agent. And, having somebody local like that is really a great advantage, because all of the things you just touched on, Abby, and on top of it, like, you guys live, work, and play here. So, like, I bet you have probably worked with families whose kids go to school with your kids, and you've probably seen clients in church and things like that. So it's community is really big to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
we're obviously a big part, and we support, and I don't want to say just support, but we engage with a lot of these, like Abby's kids, sporting stuff, and we're doing stuff, and we're a lot of community events. I mean, we like to participate in them aside from just supporting them, because this is our home. We've been here forever, and we love it here.
Okay, let's see why you're passionate about real estate.
Overall, I do enjoy. Like, I enjoy seeing people's houses. I enjoy, one thing that really is gratifying to me is when, and I'm sure Christine and both of you guys will touch on this, but when, first-time home buyer or somebody that's, with lenders will get together and work with people that have, maybe they have bad credit scores, and they've worked hard, over the course of a year or two to get everything up so they can buy a house. And I really, it feels awesome when you can get to help them to get to that point. Even so, recently I had one on Concord Parkway, big house, lots of antiques, and they moved like 7 hours away, and they were really nervous about not having their house sold prior to moving. They had the moving date and all this stuff scheduled, and we kind of created a plan, and they were incredibly thankful for that, and they portrayed that to me, and that's makes me feel really good. And I really enjoyed it, and I feel like that kind of fuels, the passion for it. It is just helping people and seeing things go well, and making sure they know that they're covered, and they're good or bad, that they're going to know about all the possible outcomes, and that we help them take care of stuff like that.
Chris, how about you?
I part of it being the opportunity. I know when I got into real estate 8 years ago, my other half was not overly supportive because like some people have an opinion of an attorney. He had that opinion of realtors, that they were, for lack of a better term, kind of slimy. And it's important, to represent people. Yes, it's nice to make a sale and get a commission check, but that is not our first and foremost. It really is making sure that people are doing what they want to be doing. And honestly, my ultimate favorite top 3 transactions all three were under the $150,000 price point, because they were people that had a smaller budget, really jumped through all the hoops, and we're so grateful to have the opportunity to be a homeowner. Like, that's huge. I mean, it's just huge. But doing right by people, and that's why it's the 3 of us. We have people reach out pretty regularly asking if we would be open to having someone else join our team. But it's our name on the sign.
Yeah. And
we know each other's morals and values, and that people come first. I had a first-time home buyer couple that emailed me Super Bowl Sunday. They closed the week before, stating something about, like, as I sit here in my sun-filled living room and I'm so grateful for your help and making this process as smooth as it could be. Like, selfishly, it's very rewarding to me as well. But to play a part in their lives to enhance someone's life versus take from it.
Yeah. Again, talking with the team at Klodowski Real Estate. Our phone number here, if you've got a question, 885-4446, or shoot us a text, 887-9595. Are there situations, too, where you guys can step in where maybe it was somebody took their real estate journey upon themselves, or maybe had a different agent and it didn't work out, or whatever it may be, and suddenly they got this tough situation? Is there times where you guys are able to kind of step in and kind of help guide that? I know there's also rules and regulations around that too.
Depends on
and you can touch on that.
What is signed in, like, if you are in the midst of a transaction and you have an agent, we cannot legally weigh in with an opinion, or really our only proper recommendation can be, I would suggest you consult an attorney. Yeah, we should point out, it's important to point out that you guys are not real estate attorneys. You are real estate agents. You are pretty knowledgeable, but it is. We do have some aspects in the legality arena when involved in a transaction with a buyer or seller, but outside of that, we cannot make recommendations on someone else's transaction. Yeah.
But if you're a for sale by owner and you decide that you want some input, we're your guys. Yeah.
And so it's important, if people are getting into the buying or selling process, to do a little research and call and maybe ask a few questions, because of some of those regulations around what you're able to do once things are signed, and that can get tricky. So you want to kind of make sure you've got the right situation, the right match all ahead of time. Still got a few minutes left with you guys. What else do you want to chat about today?
We can't stress the question part enough. I mean, even if you call up and say, hey, I'm going to be a for sale by owner, will you tell me what my house is worth? We're still going to come out and put a market analysis together with you, the very same as if you called and said, I want you to list my house. So you have that information. If it's a question, and if we can't answer it, we'll direct you to a proper resource. But okay, so my tax bill that I got in December of 2024, that's for 2020. Nope, that is in arrears, meaning like that is your taxes for 2024. Yep. there are no silly questions. We're happy to answer questions over the phone if you'd like to get together in person. If you're thinking about listing in 3 years and would like some pointers now of where you may want to invest some dollars to get your house ready for that. Just can't stress enough. Questions. We're happy to be your trusted real estate advisors.
We also love seeing houses, and I was going to touch on that before, but when you had asked about, like, aside from all of the stuff that we like working with people, and I feel like I speak for a lot of people, I drive by houses in town, and I'm like, I would really wonder what the inside of that house looks like.
I bet, and I know you won't go into detail because you're all professionals, but I bet you've seen some interesting things.
Good,
yes.
good and bad.
Yeah,
100%.
good and bad. Yeah, good and bad.
Absolutely.
We would love to see your laundry.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
things.
there's just a lot of houses in town like that. I think that's cool is to see what people come with ideas wise, or even what their builder or their architect comes up with, or how people paint things or decorate things. We drive by a lot of these old houses, or you'd be surprised at some of there's sometimes we list houses that are outdated on the outside and they're brand new on the inside. And
Yeah.
just don't one of those don't judge a book by its cover deals.
Yeah.
And I love seeing houses in general, but you drive by a house for 10 or 15 years and then all of a sudden they call the list one day and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go see this house kind of thing,
I bet over the years of doing this and seeing as many houses as you guys have, like, it's probably been a little fun too, like, just, and obviously I know you deal, the Beaver Dam area, but even within city limits, having seen enough houses to kind of be able to tell kind of the different eras of the different neighborhoods.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Absolutely.
Obviously people remodel over time and some of that disappears, but you probably see enough where you can kind of see those, like, oh yeah.
But
this
like
neighborhood
entire
you can-
Sears home neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, like in our neighborhood, it's so funny. Every once in a while we keep our eyes on listings in our neighborhood, and it's always so funny when you see a lot that have been remodeled, so you don't see it, but all of a sudden you see like, oh, yep, there's another house in our neighborhood with all arched interior doorways. So very, very. I have found that is very, very popular in my area.
Oh, you can tell too, like that whole, that Prairie View subdivision out there. They were all built in the same 5 years, and unless someone has done something pretty significant in their house, they're all very similar. They have the same design features and things like that. But
you probably, by me just saying arched doorways, you probably already figure out the
Yep.
town I live in.
There's a lot too. A block up by the middle school, there's just you can tell like the Monarch Range area homes that were built in these certain times, and there's a lot of super cool houses there with awesome woodwork and just the building styles are a lot different, and they're super cool, unique, intricate.
True craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so funny because every year we have the conversation in our house because we want to do some remodeling, and every year do we do the remodel project, but also like we've kind of fallen in love with the arched doorways. There's something about the history. I'm like,
they're coming back.
I
The
was gonna say,
the character houses are coming back.
You watch HGTV and they're putting arched
Yeah.
things in
yeah,
again.
I suppose.
Yes,
It's true.
when
I
they-
do see some of that.
we really did the whole wash any character out of houses for a solid 10 years there, and now
White and gray.
people are going the opposite direction of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that awesome intricate woodwork. Put some white paint on it.
Heartbreaking.
We do see that.
Don't. That was a joke. He was being
I
sarcastic.
know,
Yeah, don't actually do that. But I mean, to each their own. But a lot of people we will see that, and a lot of awesome woodwork gets covered up.
I'll tell you that HGTV stuff. It can get in your head. When we bought our home,
Oh, yeah.
I was really stuck on this one show that I forget the name of it, but they were really big on original flooring and not covering it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we bought our house, there was enough shown that we could tell that there was very likely some original hardwoods under all the carpet. And I'm like, why were they hiding the hardwood? And I went directly from closing to the house to start tearing carpet up and got myself into quite the project. Not as simple as
I did the same when I
Turns
bought my
out,
first house.
you're going to be surprised at this. You can't redo an entire house of hardwood floors in a 30-minute episode.
Yeah, no.
Turns out they do a little editing to make that
Yeah.
You mentioned too Monarch Range. When we bought our house, probably a couple months after we had bought it, I was in the basement and I was looking for a few just scrap pieces of lumber, and I remembered when we looked in the crawl space of the basement, there was just some random lumber down there, so I could probably grab it out of there. And I dug back and I started pulling, and I pull one of these boards and I see there's printing on it. I look Malibu Range,
awesome.
and I consulted my good buddy Craig Caston here in town, who's great.
He's
he
amazing.
said, he said, you know what that is? He said that's a piece of wood from one of their shipping crates from Monarch
yeah.
Range. That's pretty cool. So that was a fun little piece of
That's
history we
awesome.
found in our house. So almost out of time, but want to remind folks how they can get a hold of you.
KlodowskiRealestate.com, 920-219-9212. Messages on Facebook, or we also all have our own personal cell phones. You're welcome to call or text those as well.
All right. Anything else we missed? Forgot. I know you guys are big into community events. Any big events you're looking forward to in the near
Well,
future?
you had Karen on the Lake Improvement Association
Yeah.
dinner, the
Oh, yeah,
Paved
that's
Sweet
come.
Thanks
Sweet
event.
Thanks is coming.
Anything that's 40 degrees or warmer.
Yeah, I'm on that one. Outside and 70 degrees.
I shouldn't say that. I'm thrilled the sun's out.
I was going to say the snow
yeah.
people are going to be unimpressed with you, Adam.
No. I don't mind the winter so much. The sun's out, so that's all that matters. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of the events that happen. I mean,
Yeah.
we golf outings and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
stuff like that come summertime, springtime, summertime. So
All right, awesome. And this is the team with Klodowski Real Estate, Abby, Adam, Chris. Always a pleasure getting to sit down and
Same here.
chat with
Thank
you
you,
guys. I'm
Tim.
excited. I've known you guys for forever, but I'm excited I finally got to actually sit down and do a show
That's
with
great.
you. I never had the chance.
Thanks for having us.
That is fantastic. And again, phone number if people want to get a hold of you.
920-219-9212.
And KlodowskiRealestate.com is the website. Awesome. Stay warm out there.
Thank you.
If you
Thank
can. That is going to do it. That is the team from Klodowski Real Estate. The views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of Good Comer Brands, its management, or its employees.